it's not my term, and I actually don't know who the author was, but I'm eternally grateful to that person for going, hey, intimacy, into me you see. I'm like, dude, girl, whoever you are, thank you. That my 5-year-old got it. So welcome into the He Wants, She Wants Marriage podcast. In this episode, we're talking about 3 steps to generate deeper intimacy couples must know. Deep, intimate connection. This is like the lifeblood. It's the oxygen of married life.
Yes, and it's quite a struggle to actually not only create it in the first place, but maintain it. There's like what comes to mind is there's almost a paradox of emotional intimacy and intimacy in general that is like at the beginning of the relationship. Well, we don't have it just yet. We're getting to know each other, but we're also showing up sort of at the best because we're trying to put out all the, special effects just to impress the other person, of course. But then the more that we get into long-term relationship, the more that the years pass, you'd think you'd actually cultivate intimacy, but life gets in the way. Busyness gets in the way. And then so we need to work with this.
Yeah, the one thing when you say about that, the paradox and the longer in that you go, the tragedy in that, and I've heard guys speaking about this, they themselves, and actually very often it's their queens. He's like, guys come, so often it's pure necessity. That's when a guy gets to deep men's work. It's like, oh my God, the divorce papers are on the table, or oh my God, she really means it this time. And it's this idea that the love is just gone. It just went. It's like it's this noun, or it's this object that it's there and then it's not there. And yet it's really down to this skill set of being able to generate deep intimacy. And these 3 steps, these are so simple. These are so simple, and you can practice them in any given moment. Once a husband and wife comes into a room, these 3 steps really help to rejuvenate that deep, intimate connection, no matter how long you've been together. So, yeah, I'm excited to dig deep in,
into the steps. Yeah, what I love what you just said about the mixing up of love and intimacy, like that the intimacy can actually sort of slowly decrease or even just not being cultivated because we lack the skills. But I definitely put my hand up that for me, I was mistaking that for love, and it's like, oh, love must not be there. So that's a really important distinction. And before we get into the steps, one thing I wanted to say is that we're not just talking about sexual intimacy. We're talking about emotional intimacy. So the steps that we're giving today, yeah, well, they can lead all the way to beautiful sexual interactions, but that's not actually the point. Is like the emotional intimacy comes first. That I know you break intimacy is into me you see. So I think that's important to sort of bring in a little bit just to understand what we're talking about when we're saying we're cultivating intimacy.
Yeah, definitely. That was a game changer for me in my early days, reading David Aida, Masculine Feminine Dynamics. I was voraciously reading and listening to all these teachings, and intimacy was coming up. And you had said that it was cyclically coming up in the arguments. The word intimacy and many other, we're actually going to be talking about attunement. Just attune to me. I want more intimacy. And there was no part of my rational mind knew what the fuck intimacy was. So I don't know if it's a rational-minded dudes thing, maybe, and I don't know, maybe it is more shunted that way. That was a wonderful, simple entry point for me, and I had read so much. It's not my term, and I actually don't know who the author was, but I'm eternally grateful to that person for going, hey, intimacy, into me you see. I'm like, dude, girl, whoever you are, thank you. That my 5-year-old got it. It got it. It's like, okay, so when I'm closed and I'm not allowing you into me, and these steps will talk about if I'm not doing that, well, then I'm not going to feel safe or confident to touch base with what's happening in you. It's like, well, that's not intimacy. So open the fuck up, Mark.
Yeah, I'm laughing when you're saying rationally minded man, and that was your thing, because I'm like, when I thought I was really good at intimacy. And then when we started actually practicing and yeah, practicing the steps that we're giving you today, and also, of course, there's so many different practices to build intimacy, it actually showed me how closed and guarded and like so not good at it I also was. So it's for everyone, and these are practices that the invitation, I guess, is to give it a go. They may feel a little um I don't know, not natural to do or uncomfortable or challenging. Like I know they did for me, for sure. Oh, I'm gonna say this thing, but I don't feel it. I'm not sure. Am I doing it right? Am I seeing things right or whatever? That's gonna be like trial and error and just give it a go. So
Yeah, let's
let,
jump in.
let's go into the steps. So the first one, as you already mentioned, is tuning in. Is that attunement, tuning into the other person? And we could do a million episodes on attunement and tuning in, because it's a skill, and it's not something that many of us really know how to do, because we haven't received it in a healthy way when we were children, babies. That attunement at the beginning, not out of the best of intentions, but there wasn't a lot of understanding of these years ago. So we're now in a place where a lot of us didn't receive it properly. So that's a practice. That's a practice. And the thing that you can start doing with that is literally when you are in a space with your partner, when you're entering a space, or when you want to start a connection with the intention, the full intention of building that emotional intimacy. That intimacy is, um, it seems that you're feeling. It's saying something like that. It seems that you're feeling tired today, or it seems that you're feeling quite excited about something. It seems that you're tuning in, you're observing the person, you're feeling into your partner, and then you're just giving it like a description. And then you're waiting for them to obviously give you feedback on that, as in, oh yeah, I'm actually, or no, I know we've had that. It seems that you're feeling sad. Well, actually, I'm just relaxed, and that's okay. You haven't done it wrong. But even just by saying that, and that attempt at tuning in, it gives the other person the opportunity to show you where they're at.
Yeah, I love the guidance that Chris Voss, the ex chief FBI negotiator, when he spoke about this, how important it is to be specific with the language used. It seems like you're feeling angry. It seems like you're feeling happy. It seems like. When I heard his advice, oh my God, I could recognize all the unwitting mistakes. I thought I was doing it and I was getting kickback from me. And I was like, God, you don't want me, you don't want me to tune in. I'm trying to tune in. I'm trying to attune. What Chris was saying specifically with those words, it seems that you are feeling, it seems like you are feeling. The words, it seems. It's a loving guess, but you're not making any assumption that you're right. And that you are explicitly stating, it seems like, which allows a total openness to be totally off the point. It seems like you're frustrated. Actually, no. It happens with us. It's like, Mark, it seems like you're sad. Actually, I'm actually in the zone. I'm happy. Like, and I'm there going, what the fuck am I? It's like, what's my face looking like? And it can bring humor. The key thing there that I have learned is, it seems to me you're angry. It's a me. And subconsciously, Chris explains that people will feel that as like it's like you're making a judgment. It seems to me. I can see
I
that
can
you're,
feel the difference,
yeah,
actually.
it's
Yeah.
icky. I can see that you're happy. Don't tell me, like, you might have been happy. Now I'm pissed. So it seems like your feeling is a really accurate way to hit that first one, which is tuning in. And that's why it's step one.
Mm. Yeah, I love that distinction. I properly could feel it in my body when you said the second sentence. Like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like that. So,
One little thing, and I know there yesterday I was struggling in you were very much with the word attunement, and it's part of my genius zone. Part of my genius zone comes from the ignorance, because like if my 5-year-old doesn't understand words, like I can't go with that. So attunement, you were actually putting quite the fight. Oh, it has like attunement is what it is, Mark, and
it's in the episode.
it's in the episode, so it's
I won.
you got it in. The tuning in part, again, I find that, and I believe I haven't been working with women. It's an exciting new chapter that he wants, she wants, community. There's kings and queens, husbands and wives coming in, the first intake of that. So I'm really excited to start learning that working dance directly with the feminine. What I believe really is missing in the world, and I speak to this very often, is to have language and metaphors that our 5-year-old inside can understand. Because the connecting intimacy can be so complex and fraught with fear. The tuning in, there again, maybe it's just for the dudes out there.
It's for everyone.
It's for everybody. But if anybody, I think of tuning in, I started guitar lessons, as you know, about 4 or 5 months ago. And my guitar teacher, Richard, he says, Mark, just one practice. Just make sure you tune your guitar in before every lesson, so we're good to go. And it literally is that. Every lesson goes good. Once I tune what I am wanting with the guitar, well, then everything I do will work if I strike it well. So everything I do thereafter, I'm going to get a really accurate feedback whether like what I'm doing is working or not. So that's with the guitar. It's super simple. Anybody can get that. Yeah. Well, if your guitar is out of tune, if you haven't tuned in, nothing in that lesson is going to seem right. That's why tuning in at the beginning of the interaction, when it's done, you'll know. Like you've prepared the ground for everything to go well, and it's going to be more accurate. If your queen or if your husband feels a bit off a little bit in, well, there's steps 2 and 3 to mind that. But it's step 1 and it's essential, like the tuning the guitar.
Yep. Yeah. Brilliant. So step 2, after we've done the tuning in, we practice empathy. That's step 2. And empathy is another big topic that we can do a million episodes on. So we're not going to go into all those details right now. But here is like you're practicing empathy. And again, there's like the same as with tuning in. Even if you don't know what it is, even if you don't understand the metaphor, even if you haven't a clue, even if you're here saying, well, but I'm not an empath, so I can't practice empathy. That's not the thing. You just go in and say this. And you are practicing empathy just by doing this. That's why these steps are so great. So what you're going to say with that is, that must be, so let's say you've shared with me something that's happened to you and I've listened, and the practice of empathy would be, oh, that must be very hard, or that must be very exciting for you. Whatever it seems like I'm gathering from what you're saying, that's again a practicing of, okay, I am feeling into what you are feeling. That's the empathy. It's not, I'm not feeling my own feelings on it. I'm feeling into what you are feeling on that. And I'm letting you know.
I personally find that so effective. The empathy practice from you, where I say what I'm saying, and in moments I mightn't even realize that I'm in a hard moment. Very often, it's like I practice tuning into my own nervous system. But hey, that's the real wonderful support. Is why we talk about the second part of the agreements, the port in the storm. Port in the storm is, hey, I'll be your port in the storm if you're in the storm. And quite often that can happen. I'm in a loop in my head, and I might even be trying to breathe into it and doing other practices, but that can be a challenge. And to have you say, hey, that must be hard, what you're experiencing now. And I know many times it stalls me. I stop in the moment and you know what? You know what? Yeah, I really, I get it is hard. I can feel my body softening, so it's an immediate thing. Yeah, I can feel the hardness that I was unwittingly carrying, and my shoulders will drop and go, yeah, damn straight. Thanks for noticing that. Thanks for reflecting that back. Wow, I didn't realize that meeting or, the transition, the startup of the community, etc. There's lots of things happening, parenting, in-laws, outlaws, all the juice. It's a wonderful thing to receive.
Yeah, because it has a double effect. So, like, a problem shared is a problem halved. That's like the minute you're seeing into something that you're experiencing that's difficult, there is that feeling of, that this burden is, I'm not alone in this, even if we don't consciously say it, but that's literally
Mm,
what's happening. And also, I mean, when you're going through something that's wonderful, you want to share it with someone. So if I'm going, oh, that must be very exciting, then it's like, and you can add, that's like, you don't have to, but you can add, tell me more. Tell me more. You can tell me more about what you're experiencing that's hard, but tell me more about what you're experiencing that's exciting. That's like, wow, so I get to share with you this thing that's really cool for me, and you're getting seen, that there is interest. I know for me that just, I know we did say the one thing that women want in marriage is being seen. So I know that this really works for me.
yeah.
But that it's incredible to build that intimacy.
Men really want to be seen as well. And there's a balance to it, and it's a whole
Of
deeper
course.
conversation about masculine and feminine. There's nothing more nourishing for, a man that
Mhm.
is in his power, he's doing his shit, he's a king, he's dominating his inner world, outer world, fortress, business, and to have his divine queen go, hey, I see you.
Mm.
And that must be hard, or that must be exciting. Like you got the promotion, but before you jump to the next cool thing that you're doing, I see this must be exciting. Yeah. And there's wonderful research. As always, I love nerding out in this shit. Um, there's wonderful research. We won't go into fighting duel because I know in your professional training in trauma, there's a whole thing about the amygdala and that. I'm going to go with the amygdala. You have a real juicy deepening of this. The research that has been done on the amygdala in functional MRI, and the amygdala, to some researchers' opinions, it's the center of emotional reactivity. It definitely is one that when the amygdala is super lit up, there's a lot of emotionality.
Mhm.
Happiness, sadness, joy, bliss, anger. It doesn't distinguish. There's a lot of emotionality happening. It's a marker of the intensity.
Mhm.
When in both of these, when you tune in and when you practice empathy, and a person within their nervous system gets to recognize their emotional state. This is like this is hard. This is wonderful. I'm happy. Yeah, it's exciting, and they get to tune in with that. If they're experiencing what might be known as a positive emotion, I don't like positive or negative, but a positive emotion, a high vibrational emotion, that will tend to amp up.
Mm.
Yeah, I am happy. Oh, wow. Yeah, actually, do you know what? Thanks. Boom, you're up. Yes, I am excited. Damn straight. Yeah, tomorrow I can't wait. Actually, I'm on edge. I can even play it out. It's naturally happening. The opposite thing happens when you help and you tune in and you practice empathy. The opposite happens. That must be hard. It seems like you're feeling anger. It seems like you're feeling upset. When somebody tunes in with that, the emotional intensity of it, the amygdala is wonderful. It goes, okay, cool.
Hmm.
Oh, I feel witness. It doesn't amp it up like with the more pleasurable emotions. It goes, okay, we turn the volume down. You're seen, you're safe, you're supported. You don't need the intensity of that. you're recognizing its wisdom, and now you can take an appropriate step forward from that emotional wisdom. It's a really key thing. Again,
It is.
the science backs up how simple these are, but radically effective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's wonderful. That really just strengthens the whole thing. So step 1, tune in. Step 2, practice empathy. Step 3, this is not disconnected actually from the other two necessarily, because they can be practiced together, but is actively generate connection. And this is really key, is actively generate connection, because we can go, our connection isn't there. So there's no connection, as one is looking one way and the other one is looking the other way. Of course, there's no connection, but you can actively generate connection by consciously choosing to look at each other in the eyes. And if you try that, this is something so simple that you can try literally, get home this evening and try it with your partner, to just take a moment to really, when you're asking them something or talking to them, look in the eyes rather than just looking at your phone or looking at somewhere else, or what happens. There's going to be a difference. It could be uncomfortable at the beginning. I know I hated it at the start when we consciously practiced
Mm.
looking into each other's eyes. I was finding it really hard. I've always been crap at staring competitions, so that didn't work. But it actually then, once I moved past that first embarrassment, that's information of things that are in your system that clearly you need to gently be present with. But it starts generating connection, and if you're doing it consciously with intention. So it was the eye gazing is one, matching the breathing, it's another one. Touch, so like you could
Yeah,
go
immediately. You touch my knee, and my body is just like, yeah. There's
yeah,
a closeness that would come from that.
and you can, oh, that must be very hard for you, and you're adding touch and you're looking at the person in the eyes. Those two things put together make even the practice of empathy more impactful.
The point of generate intimacy, generate that mood, and there is this magical nature of it, and it really speaks to the first agreement that we speak about, playing poorly well. There is this, and I can be ruthlessly direct with guys in coaching, so I want to tread softly yet with directness to all husbands and wives listening in. It's like, there is a point where lovingly you need to get over yourself. I don't know about you at home, but the pain and suffering that we went through for years, that extends to our girls, the amount of trauma that ends up played out cyclically. And I know myself, it was like, just going around grumpy because I have this story. And that story was going like 12, 13 years. And I've been weeding out that story. And there's a lot of bloody momentum with it that has this entitled, I'm tired, I've just done X, Y, and Z, come in. I'm entitled to be in this mood, and ye people should see me, and ye should recognize how hard my life is and how complex it is and how I'm fighting the good fight. So I'm just going to sit here in my fucking mood. and it's like, it happens clearly,
Yes.
both sides. I'd love to know when I speak like that, what does the feminine core in you react to that?
You want to know? It's okay. I'm not sure you want to know. Well, it's like, yeah, I get that. It's like, what do you want to do? You either just want to throw something at your husband. I don't encourage that. Or you just close. And again, in that moment, that's a moment where you accept that there's no connection, and those moments accumulate. And I've been there plenty of times. The entitlement of connection should just be there. That was, I think, one of the most poisonous concepts and beliefs that I had and I brought to this relationship, was connection should be there. It shouldn't be something that I have to work for. Good luck with that. Because maybe for the first 6 months, there's this kind of honeymoon sort of feeling of connection, which is not even real ultimately, because again, we said we're just trying to show up at
Mm,
her best, and we're trying
mm.
to impress the other person. So it's a beautiful phase, but that's not actually what happens in long-term relationships. It doesn't keep staying that way. So that's why we call the episode 3 steps to generate, not 3 steps so connection is just spontaneously there. You're generating it because you are actively, consciously, with intention going, okay, yeah, well, I'm feeling a little bit down and whatever, but you know what, I'm still gonna look at you in the eyes. I don't have to pretend to smile. I don't have to be here with something that's not true or real if that's not what I'm feeling, but I can show up with you and look at you in the eyes and sit with you and maybe even just not say anything but hold hands, or, practice touch, practice breathing together. And that can be enough, even in a day where, I mean, we've had nights where we've practiced together where we were both so tired, like exhausted. I remember looking at you in the eyes and actually feeling my eyes wanting to close. I was that
Yeah.
tired. And you're like, okay, you do that just for a few minutes, but it brings back that connection, and it also cultivates it, because the beauty of these 3 steps is that if you practice them um, consistently, it builds.
Mhm.
It actually builds.
Mhm. Yeah. I love the links with words, to generate and to be generous. It's the same root. It's the act of generosity. And you really need to take, I believe, personal responsibility, and it's the ability to respond, not the heavy shit that we ended up hating authority figures, parents, teachers. Oh, you need to be responsible. So we can, and I know I was guilty of it, unwitting, and I think every single guy I've worked with, and it happens en masse, which we end up with these unwitting sort of fuck yous to the world. I've enough responsibilities, like, yet you blink and your marriage is gone. You blink, your kids are gone, and you're like, wow, what a crap hole environment that they grew up in. Because why? Ultimately, deep down, and it comes from wounds. It comes from the human experience. There's no person listening in, and it's been a healing journey for me to actually go, wow, you've never been an enemy of mine. You've never once really wanted, you were unsafe, and we speak that, and never once have I intentionally done anything, but God, the pain and the suffering. So it's to invite everybody listening in to go, you can end this shit, but you really have to ask yourself big questions. Husband, wife, masculine, feminine, it doesn't matter. Major questions of yourself. If you feel entitled not to be generous in your relationship, there's literally like, why be in it? And if you're not, and you can hide behind that, I hid behind that, you hid behind that. We all hide behind that shit. It's like, I'm not going to be generous. Because why? Because mom and dad should have been there, and all of these people, they should have made me not feel like this, and I'm still here as a 5-year-old hurting, and we get it. But you literally go nowhere in marriage, and you could literally flush, blink, and another 20 years have gone by, and you're living unhappily ever after, which I think is worse than divorce. But either of the two, in 99% of the cases, are totally unnecessary. So it's a real passionate plea, actually, is, in that loving way, get over yourself. Be generous. Even when the last thing it seems is available in your nervous system is to be generous. That's when it's needed the most. That's when it's most transformative. That's when your husband goes, wow. And he wakes up because you led, or the wife leads, husband leads. It doesn't matter. The person that goes, hey, I'm going to dig deep, play poorly well. And you get into a cycle. As you've been saying, the practice.
Exactly. And it has made all the difference. I know for us, it definitely has made all the difference. Because there is no moment where you genuinely can't just take a minute to look into each other's eyes, or to just offer a touch, or go, it seems that you're feeling tired, and consciously bring that in. Um, it's worth it. I would give it a try. If you're here listening to this today, I mean, just try. It's very simple. They're very simple steps, very practical. There's no crazy setup to do. You can do it in any moment, and see what happens. I mean, if you do it for a couple of weeks, a month, see what happens.
What a beautiful thing as a couple to do that. Share it with your partner going, hey, these dudes, like, prove us wrong. Send us. Get in the comments. Do 30 days of it together. Practice it as diligently as you can. Listen several times, a couple of times per week in the car, mix it up, practice it. And after 30 days, send us abusive comments. They're not going to happen. Send us comments going, it's bullshit, it doesn't work, we both practice it, we never felt any... No. The only comments that are going to be coming are, oh my God, the difference it made. A little bit awkward, a little bit clunky in the beginning, but we stuck with it. And when you stick with it...
Yeah, that's the key.
A relentless willingness to stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
That is the miracle force.
Yeah.
This has been awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. Marriage transforming, life transforming, and yeah, what a wonderful episode. Want to say thank you to everybody listening in. That's the challenge. Actually go practice it, share it with your partner. And if you've been getting value from these episodes, the greatest way you can support Matilda and myself in our mission with He Wants, She Wants, to help millions of couples dare to get what they want, and not only dare get what they want, press subscribe, press follow, depending on the platform. Subscribe, follow, that is of a massive support to us improving this podcast going forward.
Yes.
With that, thank you so much for listening in. And yeah, between this episode and the next, dare to go get what you want.
Bye.
Bye.